What's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence Boxing is back in the building, and I'm here with some Fluence Boxing news. And y'all see what we finna be talking about, man. Y'all already know, man. This past weekend, we saw Joyce put on an amazing performance against Joseph Parker, something that a lot of people didn't see coming. I would say majority of people didn't see coming, obviously, other than myself. I'm not gonna brag or pat myself on the shoulder too much, but y'all know I've been warning you, telling you, letting y'all know how good Joyce is. And I was one of the few that said, hey, you might see Joseph Parker get stopped for the first time in his career against this guy, Joyce. Joyce is the real deal. He's the truth. I had a lot of y'all in my comment sections going crazy saying I'm tripping. Joseph Parker is more elite, faster feet, better footwork, better jab, better competition, iron chin, all these different things. Joyce is too slow, too methodical. His fundamentals is trash, a whole bunch. And I just kept telling y'all, look, just keep disrespecting Joyce. He has a great resume, just like Joseph Parker. Resumes are actually on par with each other, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna keep telling y'all I told you so because shit, I told y'all so. Anyways, look, Joyce put on an amazing performance. Obviously, we can't take that away from him. You know what I'm saying? Great Fluence Lounge, by the way, man. I had a good time, man. Salute to all the Black Goose TV family members who joined me for that Fluence Lounge. But with that being said, the question is now, where does Joyce go from here? Because obviously, Joyce is in a very interesting position where he is a way bigger risk than he is a reward, and that is not a good thing to be in the current heavyweight division, especially the state of the heavyweight division, where when we're talking about the big names or like the finalists of this so-called heavyweight tournament, Andy Ruiz, Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius is about to happen. We have Tyson Fury waiting around, which we have an interesting story that I'm going to be dropping on that a little bit later. Alexander Usyk's waiting around. Now Joyce, enters the chat. Dillian White's calling people out. It's a very interesting state of affairs that we have going on when it comes to the heavyweight division. Let's just be 100% when it comes to that. But with all that being said, I wanted to go ahead and cover this particular story right here, where Joseph Parker just so happens to say or claim Joyce is ahead of both Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Now, I'm very interested to see if he's talking about skill level. I'm interested to be seeing if he's just talking about brute force. I'm interested he's just saying like, yo, just his momentum puts him ahead of the two. Like, what is this? What is the metric that he's judging this particular stance that he's claiming to the media? That's what I want to know. And that's obviously why I have the article here, because we're going to go into the nitty gritty of this. We're going to go into the details of it to actually figure out what is he specifying when it comes to ranking Joyce ahead of both AJ and Andy Ruiz. And the question is, before we get into this, how do you guys feel about this? Do you agree with them? I know you don't know much. Neither do I. But just off this initial statement, just off this initial little headline, what do y'all feel about that? Y'all agree? You know what I'm saying? Is it recency bias? Me personally, no. I've been raving about Joyce. I've been knowing how good Joyce is. He's a problem when it comes to this heavyweight division, no matter who he fights, right? But what do you guys feel about it? Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of this article, man, make sure you hit the like button below, man. Subscribe to the channel. Road to 5K. You already know what type of time we on, notification gang, all that good stuff. You already know we putting in the work over here, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, man. Happy Tuesday to the people, by the way, as well. But let's go into BoxingScene.com. Says Joseph Parker ranks Joyce ahead of both AJ and Andy Ruiz. So Joseph Parker was undeterred and filled with unbridled confidence heading to the heavyweight scrap against Joyce. Obviously, it didn't pan out the way that he wanted to go. We're here to see exactly what he had to say about that particular fight and how does he rank. Obviously, he's fought Anthony Joshua. He's fought Dillian Wright. He's fought Andy Ruiz Jr. He's fought Derek Chisora. So how does he rank Joyce in comparison to these other fights? So Parker takes a moment to ponder how Joyce stacks up to the rest of the competition that I just named. After much deliberation, the former WBO belt holder comes to the realization that despite facing the best of the best, Joyce stands out. Joyce is right at the top, said Parker during an interview with ID Boxing. The pressure, the punches, the determination, just to keep pushing, just the respect for what he showed. So that's very interesting. So, I was trying to figure out like what is the measuring like what are you measuring here when it's saying that he's above Andy Ruiz and he's above Anthony Joshua? Are you saying his power, his precision, the willingness to come forward, his stamina? Is he just an overall better? Because you can say a lot of things, you can put people above another one, but still be like I say, Joyce has better power than AJ, but AJ is still the top dog, right? So it's very interesting to see him It's really just everything. They're just saying just who you've been in the ring with. How does he stack up with guys like Dillian White? You've been in the ring with Derek Chisora. You've been in the ring with AJ. You've been in the ring with Andy Ruiz, and he's putting Joe Joyce right there at the top. That's very interesting to me. That's very interesting. That's very transparent. And this is something I just want to go ahead and say. Listen, there's no point in asking about Fury because we're very close, and I back Fury to win the fight, but it would be an interesting fight. So we were saying if Fury would end up fighting Joe Joyce. So obviously not much. He didn't say much, and I don't blame him to say much because obviously he's coming off his first ever stoppage loss. He's coming off of the first time he's ever been knocked on his butt. That's a big deal, right? So him saying Joe Joyce is right at the top, the pressure, the punch, the determination just to keep pushing, disrespect for what he shows. So a little bit of clickbait, right? A little bit of clickbait from BoxingScene.com saying Joseph Parker ranks Joe Joyce ahead of both AJ and Andy Ruiz. He didn't say that. He definitely didn't say that, but he was very respectful, and he said I put him in the same place. Like he's anybody who's talking about Dillian White, anyone who's talking about AJ, anyone talking about Andy Ruiz. If you're not talking about Joe Joyce, you're tripping. And I've been telling y'all that. I've been telling y'all Joe Joyce is at the top of the top. He's at the top of his game. He's really doing his thing. It's just, he has to fight the right person for people to respect him because a lot of people, especially boxing fans, I get it. I used to be that way too. We would be so like hung over or, so hung up on the idea of, well, when I'm watching him do mitts, he has to look this way for me to know he's elite. We'll never know he's elite because intangibles are always going to be intangibles. And if you're never actually training the sport yourself, if you never put yourself in that position, you won't understand how important having certain intangibles in the sport is. Like a Joe Joyce being 6'6", granite chin, and can keep moving forward with crazy stamina. That outweighs quick feet, nice jab, staying on the outside all day. It just does. And if you can't, appreciate that, if you can't acknowledge that, you try to say that's not boxing, then you're very one-sided when it comes to how you look at the sport. But I guess my biggest question when it comes to the Black Goose TV family is, where do you guys rank Joe Joyce? Where would you put Joe Joyce in the current state of the heavyweight division? Someone was telling me Frank Sanchez versus Joe Joyce would be a fire fight to make. We have Jared Big Baby Anderson making his way up. I'm gonna be making video on this. Tyson Fury's calling out Manuel Char, which is very interesting. So let me know where you think Joe Joyce ranks in the current heavyweight division after putting a beating on Joseph Parker, stopping him for the very first time. And what do you guys think Joseph Parker should do after this first defeat? And when I mean first defeat, I mean in this fashion. Obviously, he lost to AJ, but in the fashion he did, is very different than how he lost to AJ. So where do you think Joseph Parker goes from here? So let me know you guys' opinion, perspective. Drop it below in the comments. You already know what type of time I am. I said time I am. My bad, y'all. Yeah, you see, that's how y'all know y'all get the raw fluence. You know what I'm saying? I just be speaking from the heart, from the mind. You already know what it is. But y'all already see what type of time I'm on, man. Hit the like button. Drop your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Road to 5K. Notification gang. I'll be back, but with more boxing on the Arnold Schwarzenegger side of the game. Stay blessed, not stressed. Much love to the people. You already know what it is. Like, subscribe.